Hey, how's it going? Adrienne Elise here. Happy solstice. I just wanted to check in and talk to you about the energies that are going on right now. We've had a really beautiful Mercury conjunct Jupiter over this last few days, and a time to maybe just kind of get a glimpse, feel an energy, have some sort of making sense of what's in this last 6 months of astrology. And but now we're moving into some different energy. We've got this intense solstice, really beautiful energy of the shortest day of the year in the northern hemisphere, longest day of the year in the southern hemisphere. And it's, these shifts happen for all of us, whether no matter what hemisphere we are, no matter what season we're in. And so they're really, really potent and powerful times. And so I'm gearing up here, getting ready for the live event of the soul group session. So there's information in the box below if you want to find out more about that. And if you can't make the live event, you can always catch the replay and come together. This is a time, there's a lot of energies coming in, and this is just trying to make on. And so I'll try to give you some regular updates as I try to figure out what's going on. But in 2019 has a lot of energy, and what's coming through for me and for the Indigo soul groups and the Lightworker soul groups is this a time to find each other and come together, and a growing awareness of what's going on in our soul group, and allowing that to amplify and support our own healing, our own process, our own awakening, even if we don't know these people in person. Feeling this connection with our soul group on other levels and preparing for bringing these people into our life in more 3D reality. So that's kind of the focus of this solstice session, is a soul group session coming together. And this is an energy. Now, it is an important time to come together. We've been going through such intensity, and I hope that you're doing good. I hope you're recovering. We're having a little minute here to come up above the water. Of course, it's the holidays in northern, it's just kind of like we're just going through this season, this into the darkness in the northern hemisphere. And so it's always an intense time where we're around family and things are going on around our process. But this year people are pretty confused about what's happening to them, and it kind of validates that there is stuff happening on these other levels in the atmospheric, energetic earth realm, and in our spiritual awakening process. In this 2018 time of retrograde, it just felt like we're going backwards into the mud, and maybe we're going to be stuck there forever. Now we can see that we're moving into something new, but what's happening now is that Mercury is coming out of that conjunction with Jupiter and moving into a square with Neptune. Now, this is a precursor energy to the energy of 2019, because a lot of what's going on in 2019 is this Jupiter square Neptune, and Jupiter's like in Sagittarius, its home sign. It's so happy to be there, ready to expand and grow and come into a greater awareness. And yet this square with Neptune is saying, almost like the more you seek for information and understanding and making sense, the less it actually works. Okay, so now we're moving into this time of confusion, of questioning and confusion. And that just happens sometimes, and the deal with it too is what's really happening is this full moon that happens the day after the solstice on the 22nd of December is pummeling us into the eclipse season of 2019. Now, eclipses are about lining up, and they're about things being covered and hidden and also revealed. So we are going to be having more sense coming and more awareness coming and being like, okay, I'm kind of getting a grip of what's happening here, but probably not until after eclipse season. So check out my video. I'm going to do a video on the January eclipses and maybe get a better sense of what's going on there. But it's literally because we still have Uranus square the nodes. And this is this wheel of time energy, just like shifting the lock into this new energy, this new era. And this 0 degrees Cancer full moon is saying that too. It's like we're starting a new chapter. Are you ready? Are you ready to go? I mean, have you recovered? And that's kind of the deal. A lot of people feeling like haven't recovered from this last 6 months of astrology, the last eclipses, and here we are moving into this next chapter, and you can feel it, and it's kind of pulling on us. But it's this portal, and it's a portal into the unknown, because guess what? When you're moving into new territory, that's the whole deal. It's new and different. So we don't know what's going on. And so this is a time when we need to kind of surrender and let go of, it's like we've gotten a glimpse of like, okay, I'm coming up above water. There is a bigger picture. I can sense it, but it's not going to actually make sense, right? And so we're being pulled into this kind of portal energy of these eclipses. And it won't be until that Chinese New Year on February 5th that we come out of this portal and into the new chapter. And the deal is like, if you knew what was coming in the new, then it wouldn't be new, right? It's a definition of new, it's the unknown. And we have to get comfortable with this right now. We have to kind of surrender and use the peace of this time, the quietness of this time, to go within and to just be present with what's happening, but not try to necessarily make sense of what's going on, because Mercury coming out of that conjunction with Jupiter is now moving into a square with Neptune. And Neptune, when things are in square with Neptune, it always brings an energy of confusion, of delusion, of what's real, what's not, but particularly with Mercury, because Mercury just really wants to know what's going on and make sense of it in our everyday reality. And that's not always possible. And maybe that's part of the message that's going on right now, is that we're spiritual beings in this huge evolutionary process. And it's not going to make sense in our everyday world. So just stop, just stop trying to fit your new reality into your old way of thinking. It's not going to work. So we got to surrender into the unknown and kind of take this moment of bringing our head up above the water so we can go down into the depths of these powerful eclipse season and make the most of this portal. Be ready, clear, and our vibration be open to the new, so it always feels better on some level, or it seems to feel better when you know exactly what's coming, and you're like, okay, I've got this plan. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And that's all great and everything. But when you don't know, and you're totally confused, you're actually way more open to energies coming in that are more appropriate and more guided and more in tune with your higher self. And there's way more magic available. And so the challenge right now is to be in that magic of the complete unknown. We kind of got a glimpse of understanding, just enough, right? It's like we had to come up and get some air, breathe, so we can go back into this process, because we don't want to miss a beat of what's going on right now. The planets and the way they move it's a map. It's also a record, but it's also messages. And we can, when we pay attention, so the more malefic, difficult aspects, they affect all of us no matter what. But to get the most use out of the helpful messages and the clarifying messages, we've got to kind of reach out for this information and understanding. And that's what kind of just been so fascinating about astrology for me. Not that the stars are dictating our reality, or the planets and the constellations, but they're giving us some support. They're giving us messages of how to deal with the energy that's going on right now. So thank you so much for joining me through this year. Thank you for everybody and for just all of your support and all of the subscribers. It's so helpful to get this message out. If you feel like there's other people that might be able to benefit from this work, this really important work right now of coming together in these soul groups and doing this deep and profound work together, and understanding coming to first, less understanding, maybe more later, hopefully. But it's like and share and subscribe, to help out get this message out to people who might need to hear it. And so I'm here for you. I'm looking forward to 2019, where I'll be offering a lot more group activities. I want to get to know you more, get this, connect with this movement, and start to define it a little bit more, and so we can really be together as we go through these intense times. So look for that, and look for some videos talking more about this 2019 energy, the eclipse season, and the Chinese astrology of the year of the pig that starts on February 5th, right after those this portal, eclipse portal that we're moving into January 2019. It's like the unknown of the unknown. It's like January has this whole energy of moving into the new and a portal into the new. And it's kind of like, we don't know, what's around the bend, and we don't know when it's new. That's the whole point. So we got to kind of dive in to this unknown, confusing time and let it be what it is, right? Just find that peace in the present moment. What's happening as we're going through this evolution is a change in our relationship to time. So you might start noticing this. And at first it can be frustrating and confusing, and we hold on to time and the old way we know time. But really what's available to us right now is realizing that, all of our concerns and worries that we have eventually harmonize, right? And then we've spent all this time and energy trying to solve these problems, right? That are eventually get worked out. And then we don't even remember what it was like to have those problems and how we felt at that time. So what happens is we get so stuck in how we feel, and we forget that it's just moving along. We've got it. This is the flow, right? So 2018 was rather holding back and going backwards and all the retrograde energy. 2019 is very dynamic. It's like bam, 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 things are happening. And so we've got to kind of like, when things get intense and you don't know what's going on, or you're feeling the squeeze, or you're back in those old places, because we're going back and forth now between the new energy and the old energy. So, but just kind of like, it's helpful to just be present with what's going on as much as you can, knowing that it's just moving to the next thing, right? I'm just right here, and then we're going to move to the next thing. And I don't need to get too attached to what's happening right now, because it's a very dynamic time. Whereas like 2018, we were all attached. We were all attached and stuck and corded and in the prison and, all that. And now it's a very different energy. It's dynamic, and we got to just kind of be with what's happening in the moment. And so this is our time to move into this, use this peace and quiet time right now. We don't have a ton of aspects going on, to kind of just ground out and be ready, move into this new portal energy, and let the unknown be the unknown, and stop trying to, figure it out with our little brain, figure it out with our heart brain, which is like, our heart brain says, trust in this process, trust in your bigger self, trust in the bigger picture, and don't worry about what it looks like or what it means or what it's going to be exactly. And so it's kind of like making sense out of things from our heart center, from the oneness, where our brain is in two pieces, right? So he's got the duality, and that's this Neptune energy of like, Neptune has this energy of like, oh yeah, I have this intuition. And then you totally doubt that intuition, and you can make yourself crazy arguing with yourself. And so we need to go to the heart knowing, to the heart sense, to the oneness, and just kind of let our mind be confused and, in the unknown, and just become more and more comfortable with it, because that's what this next month is really about in this eclipse season. So thanks so much for tuning in, following along. I look forward to being with you in this dynamic year ahead. And so until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.